Welcome to the Employment Wednesday podcast with Yvonne Shabangu. Have you heard of the scripture Hosea 4 verse 6? My people perish because of the lack of knowledge. The same applies to your career. When you don't know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, you are likely to make wrong career choices. But worry not. Employment Wednesdays is here for you to offer you all the answers relating to your career and offer you strategies to develop your career. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. You are welcome to another episode of Employment Wednesdays. And this is going to go to the bookmarks because for me, it's like a full circle moment. I'm seated with Bongani Baloyi, a digital creator, digital entrepreneur. And you're a graduate, ne? From
Hey,
UP.
me, never. 5'2".
He did something there in finance and go UP, almost there, right? And then most of us know him for his beautiful videos. We know him for the production of Defining Love. We know him for Matched. And guys, I've written to Defining ne? Banshabaga Bomb. So today I am asking and then but yeah, I'm sitting with one of my faves, Bongani Baloyi. If I missed anything, we're probably going to find out more as we go into the conversation. Ne? Welcome, Bongani. Thank you so much for honoring my invite.
Thank you so much. You're so good at this, hey?
Yeah.
You in it. I love the element, man. Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Look at you hyping me. Okay.
I love
this feels
it.
great. I better not disappoint into the conversation.
You know.
So we're going to start with the icebreakers, ne? If you were a drink, what drink would you be and why?
Coca-Cola, Pozella, yeah. Coca-Cola all the way.
You're not at work, right?
Listen, I'm not at work. And thing is, I am Coke all the way. You know, I'm a family person. I'm a friendly. So Coke is a brand that has been there for generations and generations, and it keeps on satisfying you without knowing exactly what's a thing in Coke.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like I'm that person, man. You know, sometimes you come in people's life and you're like, I don't even know why I'm in your life, but it's so good at that time. Whoever I meet, whenever I meet them, like there's just this blending moment that we go down. It goes down, and then you're bored, like, you know.
Okay. I love that. And your Coke is like bodily, again.
Yeah.
And then the next one must go. Ne?
Okay.
Your cameras,
Ooh.
ne? Or delete all the work you've ever produced. Defining, matched, everything you've ever taken must go. Or the cameras must go.
Well, I think, I don't believe in deleting the past. I'd rather let go of my cameras. I'll find another way of telling stories. There's gotta be another way, but I'll never delete what I've created so far.
Really?
Like, I think it what defines me.
Okay.
Like the past work, it has shaped me to become a better person, to become where I am. So I think going forward, if I lose the cameras, it's fine.
So they can go.
We'll
Oh
find
my
a way.
God.
We'll find a way. The camera's not the only way, you know? There's a lot of ways of telling stories.
So which means if you haven't been captured by Bongani, if he's put on that tight spot, unfortunately for you.
It's gone.
If you had unlimited budget, which country, which destination would you go to? And who are you taking with?
Yo, my wife. Let's start there.
Okay.
My wife, my travel buddy, everything, man. And I think I want to go to, what's this place, man? I recently, like, it's in the Asian countries. What is this place? It's not Bali. It's not Thailand. What is the other place, man? There's this place.
I'm sure it's in Mauritius.
Wait. Let me go to my saved. Oh my goodness. I really want to go to that place. But
Okay.
it needs proper budget. Hey, I've been trying to save. I'm like, I'm not saving enough. Philippines.
Oh, you want to go to the Philippines? Okay.
Philippines. There's so many islands in Philippines that you won't be doing justice if you travel to one. You need like a 3 weeks itinerary to go to Philippines.
Okay.
Hopping from island to island, you get to explore the cool side, the islands, and then also the heritage sites, and also just the city in general, like
Okay.
the other side that people don't go to. So if you do that, 3 weeks hopping, aye, more than happy.
All right. Okay. Okay, I'm happy with the icebreakers. Now we're gonna go into a bit serious stuff.
Okay.
In high school, how's
Yeah.
your high school life like? What did you want to be? What was your dream?
Oh, damn, guys. High school. I feel like high school was the best time of my life, better than primary,
Okay.
most definitely, because high school, that's where I got to discover myself. Like, I went in, I was the smartest kid in school.
Okay.
So, like, it became one of those things that I was like, listen, I want to live out my best life. So, I was coming from a middle C school, and then went to the government school. So, I knew what the kids were doing in the middle C to study and all that. So, when I got there, I was like, yo, I've got such an opportunity to change my life, personality-wise, like everything, because I was so shy. Oh, I was so shy in primary. So I got to develop a little bit of personality in high school, and I got to meet like my cool friends. I'm still friends with them today.
Really?
Yeah, and it was such a good learning curve. And I wanted to become an actual scientist at some point.
Heaven, are you a smart
And
moose?
accounting, you know the misconceptions of being smart in school that you must go for the best thing that's available out there, and that
Yeah.
was actual science at that time. I was so good in maths that whenever I went to class, literally that was my favorite period at that time. Period. Imagine they called it period.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was like quite a cool journey in my high school. I wanted to become someone there by the Reserve Bank in an office.
Doing the numbers and all
Doing
of
the
that.
numbers. I already had spotted my office there by Reserve Bank in Pretoria. I was like,
You're in it.
I was in it.
And then now, you wanted to be an actual scientist or rather something in accounting, right? Then what, you then apply, go UP. What did you apply for? And what informed what you particularly applied for?
Applied for accounting sciences and then actual sciences.
Okay.
So my grade 11 marks was not good enough. And then in January, I aced it. And then they called me. They were like, listen, actual science is full, accounting is full. What's your next best alternative? I'm like, give me something middle ground. And financial science was the middle ground into that. And I was like, hey, all right, let's go for it. And opportunities that were there, it's either become the taxman, if not the taxman, accounting, if not accounting, audit. That one, it was between the four major things. Financial management as well. You know, you were within, you were set. Because also it's UP, jobs are not scarce.
Yeah.
So
Goes with status.
that was the mentality at that time.
Okay. So they accept you. How was the first week of university? How was the transition from high school to uni?
I went to, so you go to res first, and then you have like about 2 weeks in res to get to know everyone before you actually go to varsity.
Oh, okay.
That's the advantage of being in res. So in res, it was so nice. Res, it was a culture shock because my parents literally dropped me off, and I didn't know that they had to stay. On the first day of res, every parent was there except for my
They
parents.
slept over.
No. They were just
they
there for the opening ceremony.
Oh, okay.
So they were there. I didn't know those things because, when you're black and going to varsity,
We're not fully
we're not fully informed on what's going on. But then, like, I found a community within that. I was in a spoken note, first time there, English was bad, data bundles depleted within seconds. And I was using such a weird phone at that time, and everyone is using like a proper phone. And I'm like, hey, this is gonna be a hard time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was a nice transition for me before going to class. Because if I went to class, I think I was gonna have a mental breakdown. Because now when you go to class, at least you know some people. Because within those 2 weeks, your res gets to visit other reses. So so it's a males only res, and then you go visit another female res, and then you guys must mingle. You must go there. Shout out the girls.
Oh
They
yeah.
teach you like
You secure the girl for the rest of the
exactly for the semester, not for the rest of for the semester. Hey, after one
it's per
semester, you
semester.
don't know who's there. You don't know if someone is still there or not. Yeah. So it also helped in terms of like communicating with girls. Like I think that was the first time speaking to a white girl. And I'm like, hey.
Wow, actually, now that you mention it, because you're used to people of color in the same space.
You know how it goes. There's not like communication is not as clear as that. So when you meet the white girl, now you must communicate. You must learn all these things from scratch. I'm like, oh, okay. So Happen in a black community. Like we are
done.
dating.
Yes,
No.
I'm not taking you for movies and all of these things.
No,
Okay.
so you must take this person through the movies and all that. So it was quite a good learning curve. That actually don't become like the rest and just adapt. Learn what you actually like and grow from there. So I grew from there.
Okay.
That's so nice. Oh.
You're the time of your life. Memories.
Yeah.
So now you've settled in. How was your first year like? Were you prepared for what it came with academically, emotionally, mentally? It is deep.
Yeah. I think first semester, it's like you're still adjusting, right? And you're starting to get the hang of things. From high school, you're so used to being the best. When you get to varsity, you get all the best people out there.
Yes.
And I think I was like on the top 10 of Gauteng in my matric year. But then when you get to varsity, like all these people, you ask the person next to you, how much did you get for accounting? 100%.
Yo.
And I'm like, okay, 98 something. I tried. You know?
Yeah.
It becomes one of those things. It becomes a culture shock. So I had to change my mentality there to adapt into it. And it was the hardest thing ever, culture shock. There's a module in UP. 90% of the black people fail the module. It's called AIM. It's,
okay.
Yeah, it's computer literacy. We're not so exposed to computer literacy as black people. When you get into it, first thing that you fail is that module. So then it's a decider. You don't study for it.
Yes.
It's a decider whether you're doing AIM 101 or AIM 111. AIM 111, you do it 2 times, meaning first semester and second semester. AIM 101, first semester, you're done. So that's a decider. I failed the module, and I was so happy that I'm not the only one who failed it.
That was the consolation. Yeah.
It was something else, but then like it was a good learning curve that I needed to go through. But adjusting, culture shock was a problem. Mental health as well. Like I think when I failed my first semester test, I was like, this is how it feels to fail.
Yeah.
I haven't failed like, I don't know, since like primary school. This is the first time failing. So I didn't take that well. And the nice thing is that like I had built some form of a community because I got in varsity, but also I found my community in Tax FM.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I found my radio love, my media space. So I had a community there. People were, people in radio, they're not the smartest, but they're good at what they do, but not the smartest. So you get to, say, guys, it's okay. We can do this together. They've got moral support. The best when it comes to support, they'll support you throughout. So it was a big culture shock, English-wise as well. That is still my biggest nightmare. When you get to varsity, you don't know. Like, in high school, they tell you, what's school? And you're like, hey.
You take it for granted.
Yeah,
You're uninterested.
Get there, you don't know. You don't know how to read because now you've never read novels. You just know how to read for studying. You don't know how to read a book. You don't know how to like conduct yourself amongst other people. Like the trait to say, how do you introduce yourself to someone? Those small things. So I got to learn that a lot. Unfortunately, the hard way, because that's when your marks were dipping down.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey,
Yeah, ne?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, I mean, we all, I think most of us, like you said, people of color, we experience a major culture shock when we move from high school to university because all we are ever taught is education is the key to success. But we're not taught how it works.
Exactly.
We're not taught how to navigate it, right? What do you think could have helped you settle in better or handle your first year or your university life better?
I think to have a mentor, as funny as it sounds, I wish I could have someone, and I know they did try a little bit, but then it was never effective in terms of the res culture. But then in terms of academic wise, like have someone who will guide you through to say, okay, first semester, you're gonna probably go through this, and it's okay to go through it because mentally so. And I think most of the time in our first year as varsity, after a test, it was okay to see people crying. You would walk out and see people crying. I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's a first because in high school, we never used to cry about stuff like that.
Never cry.
You would even undermine people failing.
Exactly.
You're like, this is easy.
Why not?
You're not studying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you look at those things. So I think culture shock was also a factor into it, and then coupling it with a couple of things. So what I would have liked is that have someone who can guide you through the culture shock to say it's okay. When you see like all these different people, different cultures, like for example, you've seen people, after class, not everyone has the same time as you. Some people go to work. Some people venture out into different things. Like for me, like I went to Tax FM. Some people just decide not to do anything at all in varsity. You're just there to study and just go home. And yeah, I think if it was one of those things where I had someone talk me through the journey to say, listen, this is what you're going to experience, so that I can be prepared. Because it affects your mental health big time. Because now you get through all those things, but then you're not prepared. You can't ask your mom, you can't ask your father. They've never been to varsity.
Sure.
They don't even understand what you're talking about. When you say failed, for them a fail is a fail.
Yes, it
You're
doesn't matter the circumstances.
You're not studying, you're partying, you have so many friends. And eventually they get to understand it's not about that, but it's too late at that time. Because now you're in. Yeah, when you're deep within. So yeah, I wish there was someone just to guide.
Okay, love that. And then now, when did you end up dropping out or deciding that, you know what, this is not going to work? Because on record, I'm thinking, it's like there's a video of yours I was watching, like from Tax FM, where you're talking about like failing, I think in second year. How did that shape the choices you made thereafter?
So now, let me tell you the biggest problem. It's not a problem. I love that I went through it. But when you venture out into Tax FM was a whole new experience for me.
Yes.
I got introduced to sales, to audio design, to marketing, to presenting, to radio production, to running a station. So I was everywhere. Like my curiosity took over. I'm a curious person more than anything. I literally went to every department in Tax FM and going through, learning about it. I was literally like learning what is radio, and like I was getting excited. That passion took over, and unfortunately the first part was FISMAS 4. FISMAS 4 was nailing me down. FISMAS 4. We were there. You
were for the people.
We were there with FISMAS 4. And then the second one that hit me hard was one day, I think the station manager at Tax FM saw that he was like, I see the potential in you. We've always discussed this, that you want an office at the Reserve Bank. Let me give you one opportunity. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. And he was like, Bill Gates is coming to South Africa on the 18th of...
Wait, is this a real story?
Yes, this is a real story.
Wow.
Bill Gates is coming, I think... So every year there's an annual Nelson Mandela lecture. In 2016, Bill Gates was the keynote speaker at that time. And then it was at UP, but the Momolodi campus. And then he was like, Bill Gates is coming to South Africa. I think it will be a good opportunity for you to go and, see what you can get out of it. So I was going there as Tax FM, the best time of my life. I had a small camera, went there, and then he delivered a keynote address, Bill Gates. He came with 16 cars. 16.
Okay.
Not even a president travels with 16. President travels with 9. Bill Gates 16. I was like,
I mean, he's Bill Gates. Yeah.
It's just a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went there, and then we did the whole thing, and then after it was a Q&A session. I got to meet Bill Gates, interview Nyana there for Tax FM, and then best advice. At the time, it was pre-COVID. He gave me a USB, Bill and Miranda Foundation. So I had all the things that I needed to start a business. Yeah, from your business plan samples to everything. And then the other side of it, that of which I slept on. I still regret the day. Why didn't I check the other side? I was so excited on the business side. I had the health stuff. So he came there, obviously, to deliver a lecture, but he was more concerned about the health.
Okay.
Even the coming documentary you'll see, I'm sure it's going to be based on that, on the health stuff. That's Bill Gates. So now he anticipated that COVID is coming, but there was measures just to prevent those things. Only if I could study, I would be a millionaire today. I could have saw COVID coming in. So he gave me that USB to study, and then I was like, listen, Bill Gates, thank you for that. So yeah, from there, decided to start a company called Gigabytes Production. I was like, I'm a business person, one way or another. And then school took a toll from there, and then FISMAS 4. And then so with FISMAS 4, it was tricky because now I couldn't go back to school because now I have a problem with that. And then now I think on my third year, when I was supposed to go in, the buzzer was like, we want your statement. And then with UP, you're like, no, you have a case. We can't give you anything.
Oh, you were part of those people that were sued by the schools.
No, it was, And I was like, but guys, I was just only on the media side of things. And like, no, settle your fees cash. You're not going to get a bursary to do that. Yeah, and then bursary was like, we need a statement. I was like, statement, UP doesn't want me to give a statement. They want me to pay the money. And then that's how it got a little bit tricky to maneuver around. Obviously, you have meetings with the dean and. And eventually I was like, you know what?
You gave in.
Guys, like I've got a business that's running and it's quite good here. So I wanted that. So yeah, that was okay.
But how did it make you feel having to? I do understand that you do love radio production and media and your creative side more.
Yeah.
But how did it make you feel having to let go that dream of numbers and stuff? Because I mean, even like I think on that interview I watched, you're like, I'm good in accounting. You're so confident. And I mean, you probably still are great in numbers. And I mean, you could have gotten your office at the Reserve Bank.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How did that make you feel having to let go of one dream to be able to be content and fulfill the other?
Yo, I think it was not a snap of a moment thing. It was a process through it. You get to realize that there is something that you're good at and there's something that you're passionate about. Those are two different things. Don't confuse the two. That if you're good in something, that's your passion. You can be good something but not passionate about. And with accounting, and I look back, I'm like, I'm so good at this thing, but I'm not passionate about. How did I tell that when I found the love in Tax FM, when I saw my passion striking? Literally, I wouldn't mind waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the station. And I remember we won so many awards at the station at that time. I think more than 20 awards from the radio awards from me being in Tax FM. I was like, this is something I'm passionate about, something that I really, really feel like I would do this for the rest of my life. With the accounting side, it's something that as you're saying, the key to success is education. What I saw as my future, you coming from a poverty background, you want to make a difference in your community, you want to make a difference in your family. The way that I saw was like, okay, I'm good in accounting, I can make myself out of something there. But it was not passion. It was just me speaking out of that place of knowing I'm good with something. Yeah.
Okay, love that. And how did you get into Tax FM if anybody wants to go in there?
Yo,
Spill
Tax
out the
FM
tea.
it's very easy. Like literally, I think they still do the same thing. The application process, it's not a job. You volunteer, like because now there's no payment. If you get paid, probably
So you were doing all of this for free?
That's why I'm saying when passion spikes. You
Okay.
will see, you will understand that no amount of money can fulfill you. Like you'll find your love there. So Tax FM was an easy process. Like you apply, you get called for an interview. So obviously there's requirements into these things. Like what position are you applying for? And then what's the requirement? They call you in for an interview. And then there's like different elements into it to the interviews. And then they check you, oh, okay, do you know this? Okay, past experiences, what do you have? No, I'm a church boy. Church boy, we know these things, you know? And they're like, okay, cool. And then they try you out for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, you get your verdict, whether you're in or not. And then after 3 weeks, I was in. From there, I was in all the way.
Okay.
Every
love
year,
that.
when they say contract renewal, they send you a contract. It's a voluntary contract, but it's like it's giving as if like you are part of a working environment because you check in as well. You've got
And it
monthly
prepares
meetings.
you for work environment, especially at first year level. By the time you leave uni,
You
have
already
an idea
know
of a
how
professional
to
space.
interact with the boss. You already know deliverables. What happens if you don't deliver? And that's the biggest problems with people who graduate and then go to the working space without any experience. Because now you're gonna start from the beginning. You don't know what is a work ethic. You don't know what is it like in general, conducting an interview. Those type of things. So yeah. I think for me, that was like such a good segue into the working environment as well, because also I got to learn more than what I was supposed to. I was literally within the program manager, of which that's the person you're supposed to fear. And I was like, I mean, I
You
want
were
to know.
in the
Tell me how you run the station.
Yes.
Yeah, because you were doing it for free. I was not incurring any cost. But my time was the problem. That's when,
The other one was struggling. But I mean, we thank God it happened. Though in the moment it was rough. Because I mean, if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be here. We wouldn't see all those beautiful videos, the beautiful work you put out there. So sometimes there is a blessing in the mess. You must just be careful the risk that you're taking. You know?
That's why I say I'm a risk taker.
Yes, I love that. So now, how did you deliver the news at home to say, guys, you know what, this is not going to work out. Now I'm going into the media space.
So,
Or you just trained them.
no.
Let's follow the route.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, parents. And you're like, okay, guys, I let the options on the table. I'm like, you see, this one needs 100,000. And I'm here. I'm making a bit of money. That's how I've been surviving through varsity. I was not asking for money anymore from home. I was making money through varsity. And there was a lot of gigs in between that. I'm like, this is making money. And this is stuck. Like, I can try by all means, but there's no way that you guys are going to have 100,000 to pay for this. So, can I try it out and see how it goes? Like, no. I think it took them about 3 months. They tried, went to the meetings with the dean, and I'm like, you guys tried. It's okay. Are you guys accepting that? Nah, this is not going to happen without us having to pay. The bursary will tell you straight up, if there's no academic record, we can't pay up. They tried to meet. It was a lot more of them trying to convince themselves as well, like there is no other way. And I was like, okay, we sorted. Let me try this thing out, because already at that time, like I was seeing a little bit of like work coming in. I was like, let me try out. And they're like, okay, sharp.
And then they followed through. I'm sure now they're so proud of you, ne?
The day they actually was like, hey, okay, we see you, was the first time I was on TV. And there was one day we went to, we were called as media to go to SABC3 presenter search. And we were the guest people there. And they saw a little bit of a glimpse, but I met someone very important on that day. And this is Patience. Patience is the executive producer for SABC3. I didn't know who she was on that day, but I was having this conversation. She's an old lady, white lady who's there, so kind. Because everyone, like I was still shy at that time. So I was like, this is the only person I can speak to because she looks so friendly. And then I told her we had defining. I'm like, oh no, this is defining. We do this and that, you know. And then she was like, what are your ambitions? I'm like, I want to travel, you know. I want to be on a plane. I want to do this thing. I want to be on a 5-star hotel, you know. Just experience those things and see how it feels, you know, so that I can motivate myself to reach those things. She was like, listen, let's do this. Take my numbers. I'll call you within a week. And then he took Denis's number as well. And then she was like, I think she called, and then she was like, hey, man, I want to fly you to Cape Town. All expenses paid, you know. I'm going to book you in a hotel, like 5-star hotel, one of the best in Cape Town, you know, and then you're going to be on TV. So prepare for that experience.
Okay.
I was like, you're kidding.
Yeah.
And then on that day, I remember, Espresso, 6 a.m., my whole community was awake. We were like, listen, we're going to watch ourselves on TV. So yeah, we did that. And then also, it was such a nice experience going to Cape Town. So it opened doors. And for them, as parents, they were like, okay, we see something. If you're able to reach such places, they've never been to Cape Town. So they were like, okay, there's an option here. Let's see on how it goes. Yeah. And from there, we ran with it.
Okay. That was quite a risk, hey?
Yeah.
that was quite a risk.
I'm a risk taker.
Okay, so now you fully go into the space of YouTube, right? How do you guys, you and Denis and who's the other lady? And Norma, yes, right? You guys come up with defining, right? How did you guys get there? Like, you guys have carried the YouTube streets.
So there's a friend of mine called Zanele. Zanele, she's now a presenter in Espresso.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Espresso, the one that we went to first time around.
Okay.
Okay.
Espresso is the espresso.
Yeah. So what happened is that the channel was called Defining Denis before. So I was doing an interview for Zanele. I was training her for, like, she was going for an interview from Zan's Insider, and then she was training. I was training her based on my knowledge that I found on YouTube. I was a big fan of YouTube. Like, when YouTube came out, I was like, I'm within. So I was forever learning stuff from YouTube and applying them in real life. So we were training Zanele, and then I met Denis there. So Denis was a guest as well. And then we were like, dude, like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh no, I have a YouTube channel called Defining Denis. I'm like, oh, okay, I have a camera. I'm passionate about this YouTube space thing. And then we were like, okay, let's try it out. Our first person that we were interviewing, it was supposed to be DJ Fresh, ne? And then we never
How did you secure DJ Fresh?
We
Or were
never
you
interviewed
already-
DJ Fresh. We
Okay.
never interviewed. But he said he's got like the connection with DJ Fresh to interview. And then it never happened, but someone great came through. It was Russell Simone.
Okay.
Russell Simone is big in the US. He's like, you know, the gang of 50 Cent. And,
Yes,
and he was
yes.
coming to South Africa. We did an interview from there. And then from there, we started interviewing celebrities. Like we were going around. I want to podcast, what poetry. Like, that's how I got to meet all these people. I don't think they remember me from this day, bro. I was still short. I was still young. You know what?
Yeah.
And then from there, the channel was not growing. At that
It
time,
was not growing?
No. We were
Okay.
like on 1,000 subscribers. Imagine getting Casper and then you're on 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Imagine getting, who's this lady? What's her name? The Shaga from Ishaga Ilembe.
Who is
The
it?
charity lady, man. The one.
Nomzamo.
Nomza Mombat.
Yes.
Imagine getting Nomza Mombat. We did a 3-part series. And then it was on 5,000 views and then still on 1,000 views. On 1,000 subscribers. We're like, aye. Something is
Now
off
I want
here.
the secret. What made
Something
the
is
views
off,
grow?
yeah. And then I remember with Dennis, we sat down, we're like, listen, we need to like analyze what's the problem. And we're like, we're actually not telling authentic stories, we're just doing interviews. We needed to get like real stories and see what's actually like happening.
Sure.
And I remember we sat down, we're like, okay. He was also pausing with school and he was like, I want to give it a year. I want to give it a year. Let's do this YouTube thing. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, we'll go back and do our school things. And try and finish school. Well, he did finish. And then from my side, I was like, okay, let's go in. Now I can wait to see what's what. And then we did that and then we started like finding stories. And then that's where defining, so we changed the channel to defining, not defining Dennis, because we needed to come in as well.
Yes.
Like as Bongani, I've got my own story. As Norma, so we needed to take away Dennis and make it like a centralized thing. And then that's where defining came in and we were like, let's tell stories. We started with like having conversations on politics and then love was a secondary thing. And then we were like, there's so many things. If you go online and Google like Black love, you can't find any stories.
Yes,
There's
that's
nothing
true.
on Black love. If you say, you can't, you know, on how as like Black people, when we start talking about love, you can't speak to your mom openly so and say, hey, mama
It's
gajola.
always...
It's a taboo.
Yes.
You understand? So one thing for us at that time, Mina, if I couldn't like talk to someone, I'll go online and find a conversation about that. I couldn't find stories on love. And then we were like, listen, guys, it's a common thing. Let's go for it. And then we were doing a segment for Valentine's Day. We shot something. It was a 1-minute clip for Valentine's Day. But then within those clips, there was someone who was in a relationship, a polyamorous relationship. First time hearing that word on that day. And I was like, so we shot everything and then we were recapping at the end of the day. So we always sit down on defining
Okay.
and say, what did we take out of the episode? Is it good enough? What can we change and all that? But when we sat down, we're like, guys, did you understand what the person was saying? This person is saying they're in an open relationship and they're okay with it. How do these people meet? I want to know, how is this love? Because you can still feel the love. You don't need to, like sometimes you don't need to be in agreement on what they're doing.
Yes,
But
what
there's
they're
always
saying.
something to take out of the story. And you might not be, you know, when it comes to, let's say, what you call LGBTQ relationships, right? You see them, there's always something to take out of it. The way they love each other. It's something
Yes.
that some people lack in a relationship. So we wanted to tell those stories that we see, but you can't really express what's exactly, like, you love something, but you can't really, like, put a substance into it. The reason why you can't put a substance into it, because it's an authentic story.
Sure.
And that's what we were looking for. Whenever we were shooting, like, let's find that one thing that is authentic. And because the thing is, we needed to break the stereotype of Black people. Like, Black people don't know how to love and all that. There's so many people out there who know how to love, how to do all those things. And then from there, we grew, expanded. You can define anything now. Politics, you can define friendships. You know, there's so many things that we can do. Defining breakups, you know. And it's those things that we saw an opportunity afterwards to say, okay, there's that curiosity. And from there, we stopped doing it for the sake of interviews and celebrities. We're like, let's do the story part of it. Whoever's there, if we can find the story, let's run with it. So yeah, that was defining.
I love that. Are there any episodes you guys ever decided not to air for certain reasons?
Yeah, there's a lot, hey?
Are you for
There's a
real?
lot. To whoever's watching, if your episode of Defining Love didn't air, Askies. I'm sorry.
But
So there's so many reasons. Well, whether it's either footage got lost, if it's not footage got lost. I think, for example, even Bongani and Stephanie, believe it or not, we had to reshoot the episode.
Really?
That was the one that went viral. It's the one that we had to reshoot. So there's so many like things that can happen and go wrong in production. But then most of the time, it's literally technical. If not technical, the story. Like there's always like a loophole. We
Okay.
see one thing about us, we're not controversial. We don't like controversial stuff. If there's something controversial going around you and you're supposed to take out the defining love, there's something wrong with your partner, would hold back, put the episode aside and let it like live on our side. No one is gonna ever see that. So yeah, it's always that type of a thing that if sometimes we're just protecting the people. Yeah, but there's a lot of episodes that could have went out, that could have blown out. But because of the way the channel is structured, we try and protect the people. You know?
You know, I actually love like what you explained right now, because with content creation becoming a thing now, people would do anything to trend, right? So a lot of the people lose themselves or lose their integrity or humility, because sometimes you look at some content, you're like, really, did you have to put it out? You know, how do you then, like, to upcoming content creators, video creators, or people that are just creatives putting work out there, like, how would you say they what would help them stay authentic and humble and always be considerate of other people? Because I mean, where money is involved, for a person to put another person's well-being before their bag, it's quite a very noble thing, and I think it must be hard.
Maybe let me start with like the one advice that people wouldn't expect. Brands actually look for those type of content and they block you forever. Like I've tried to work with so many people on campaigns. A brand would say, no, this person didn't do this. This person said this in 2016, or this person did that. So if they can't find a real reason, a humanity reason, just look at your bag and see that that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. Because even today, like I can tell you for free, there's one big person named, she's always trending. And there was a show. She was so perfect fit for the show. And we're like, guys, can we please do this person? We're going to get this person on a campaign. Budget was good, 100K, ready for the person. And when we were supposed to get the person in, they brought out a whole scandal. Oh, this person said this. This person did this. This person did that. Like, it's like real stuff. Like stuff that is deep. And you're like, how did you guys find this in the first place? Like, no, guys, like we keep records of these things. Like people, like whatever that you do. And the thing is, people get excited at the beginning with the content. It's fun. You go viral. But then there's no substance after viral. Like you don't have anything substantial about it. So people need to be aware that content creation, if you're going to do it, you need to be thinking on the long-term game. Don't think about going viral now. It's okay, go viral now. But just know your back is crashed from there. Yeah, well, there's so many things that you can do to grow, but also now having the authenticity of being yourself. Remember that this thing is going to sustain you, right? You need to build relationships. Brands that are watching. And brands is not like an AI thing. It's a person, it's a human being who will understand that you're actually trashing someone there. If you're trashing this person, I don't think I want to work with you. So those people, they keep records. I don't know how many times. Like I think over the past two weeks, I've been looking for like people for campaigns, and this brand is so like specific who they want. They don't want anyone with a scandal. You bring
Can I
out
put
the
my
person.
CV after?
Please do. Yeah, but, so they actually look at those things and they take out things, and you're like, "Ish, guys, why?" Like it's a little things that you do, like, and you might think it's nothing, but then in future will affect you. It's a little thing. It's like a criminal record for social media. That's how it is. Yeah. So for me, just be authentic, but remember, whatever that you do, just know it's gonna come back years later to haunt you.
So you must always think about your longevity in the
Exactly.
industry.
Because
Okay.
people do it for viral, but viral is not sustainable.
True. Love that. That is actually very true. So how did you get your first camera?
Woo! What is the first camera? Do you count the phone as the first camera?
I'm talking about the real stuff.
Yo, first camera. I started renting out cameras.
Okay.
How I got my first camera, I lost one camera. They stole it. I was shooting a wedding, and then on the same like week, I went to some in Hatfield, and then we were shooting like a YouTube segment on restaurant. We were reviewing restaurants, and they stole the camera, and then I had to pay the other person back. And I was like, actually, if I can pay this person back, it's doable. And then from there, I started like taking a little bit of gigs and saving up. I was thinking, I think also the biggest problem is that we think about the best cameras. I started with the basic camera. That's what I'm saying. Is the phone count? Does the phone count?
Okay.
I remember Samsung S6 as well. I had it, and then I was shooting with it at some point. But then started with one camera, and then I saved up for that camera. It was not the best, but I knew exactly that I needed to grow from there. So yeah, that was my first camera.
Okay. Did you, so have you ever at any point taken any courses or everything self-taught from YouTube and etc.?
From day one, when I got to UP, everything that I taught myself was via YouTube.
Okay.
And even like being on, YouTube Black, I literally I graduated from YouTube. Everything I learned, YouTube, if not YouTube myself, YouTube, the program itself, we were there studying everything. Literally, you would go to class on, I think, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, online. And they bring all these cool people. I remember at one time, they brought this guy who does production for Beyonce. I was so excited.
Oh my goodness, you've been
I
around.
was so excited.
I'm really excited.
Bro, you
as
do
well.
what? Production for Beyonce. So yeah, and the nice thing is that on Defining, there's three of us. On that program, they split us into different things. One who does production and then content. So it was split in so many ways. So yeah, it was so nice. But then everything, proud and born and raised in YouTube. Everything that I know, it's YouTube.
School of YouTube.
Literally, I didn't go to school for anything. It's literally YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, I know you did explain a bit on having having a production company, right? But when was the point where you looked at it and you're like, this is going to be sustainable? This is like my real job.
So, I think, funny enough, I was forced into it, right? And well, not really forced into it, but then I forced myself into it. There was a day where I was like, sometimes when you are in the gig economy, you receive money, but you never calculate how much do you make a month. So now there was a point, mental background as well as accounting. I did a budget for myself. I'm like, how much exactly am I making? I was like, okay, this is good enough to move out of home. Can I actually move out of home and see how it goes? Moved out of home, never went back. And that became a thing. Even today, I still don't know if it's sustainable. I just go at the end of the month, go to bank balance. Oh, we can afford to pay rent. Okay. We can afford to buy another camera. Woo, okay, cool. All right. So yeah, it's one of those things that you live in the moment. And in this case, I have to bring God in. It's just trusting in God that you're in the right path. Okay. Yeah, there is no other way of saying it's guaranteed. I never know what's guaranteed. As much as you can say something is guaranteed, but there's none.
Yeah, there's
just have to find a way.
Love that. So what do you love the most about your job?
Ooh, I got to meet cool people like you. That is the best thing about my guys. I think in so many all those past 3 years, I've met so many cool people, and that's the best thing. I don't think there's someone that I haven't met who's cool. Tell me who's whenever I think my wife will always say, "Oh no, there's this person who's cool right now." What do they do? I remember I think a year ago, and then it was Rory Sang, and then she was like, "Oh, there's this girl, Jesus this, Jesus that," and I'm like, "Oh, who's this now?" And I was like, "Okay, let me see if I can meet her." Out of nowhere, I think I went to church on an Easter weekend, and then I met her. And then the pastor was trying to convince me to join the church. And then Roger Sang was there. And then we met. We were following each other on Instagram. And then she was like, "Oh, I love your taste of music." I was like, "My nigga." That one. And then from there, we started having conversations and we actually became friends. So you start meeting cool people that you never thought oh, this person is reachable.
Yeah.
That one. So I've met so many cool people. Imagine meeting Bill Gates, guys.
Yo, I'm still starstruck.
It's one of those things. So I've met so many cool people, and also at the same time, I've traveled a lot, telling stories. There's a guy, Lungisani Mjaji. He's the guy who shot the Albany bread picture. And I went to his home. And I'm like, it's so cool that you see these people going viral, but you never understand the story.
Yes,
We
the
went to
background.
KZN. We flew to KZN, hired the car, went to his home. His home is closed like halfway KZN, halfway Eastern Cape. We drove like for 4 hours. And I was like, dude, you stay in the rurals. Like this guy, like, yo, his story is so amazing. So for me to actually see those stories coming to life and seeing how they're growing and how can I help them, it's such an amazing thing. So that's the best part about my job. I get to tell their stories. Literally, I'm just amplifying what you just went through so that you can get better results or grow yourself in general. So yeah, that's the best part of my job.
Okay. You're also a cool person, by the way. Very, very, very cool.
So, like, from following you, and I've seen you like move around different niches, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you always produce quality. Like it's like it's always like, for instance, the whole story that you're telling. I think I saw the video you guys shot the guy, the Albani guy, right? It was so beautiful. Like even like you made the rurals look appealing. Like it's like, oh, I want to stay at the rurals as well, right? What helps you navigate between different issues? Do you tell yourself to say, you know what, since I'm maybe shooting a beauty video, educational video, or a fashion video, whatever that it is, do you educate yourself about that industry? Like, how do you produce such perfect work like all the time?
That's for all the time. It's never all the time.
Maybe you don't release the unperfect ones, but what we see on social.
I think the first thing that I had to let go of is that you're not doing it for the numbers. You're not doing it for the views. You're not doing it for people being, not for being liked. What I wanted to do is just tell stories. Whether I'm gonna go do a wedding, whether I'm gonna go do that, I literally, like, I'm at the point where I don't care about the views, I don't care about the followers, I don't care about the subscribers and all those things. Yes, at some point they do matters for brands, but I don't want that. Like even now, the current people, like I'm working with Camera Lens Center, they don't care about the views, they care about the content, the story behind it. Like, am I able to make a video out of it without saying, oh no, Bongani, this video didn't do well. We know it's all gonna do well. Why? Because people are not familiar with that content. But by the day, when people start getting to tech, they will understand, they will go deeper into those things. So I think also it's understanding that you must play a long game in terms of that, and sometimes limiting yourself, it's one thing. I know people on social media will tell you, please be specific on this niche, do that. But I'm like, sometimes I want to be myself. Like even my Instagram, you'll never see my work. You'll see it there and there, or on my stories when I say snapped it. I will never post my work and say, oh, this is the picture that I shot and all that. It's never about the final product. It's about the story, how you get it into it. My most viral video is Nozi's video when she was going on underwater, baby gender reveal. The main thing, what made the video so special, it's not even about the quality of the video. It's about the story behind it. Nozi is a very active person. She's an HIV victim. So for her to be pregnant, it was a miracle. For her to get a baby. So do you understand the storytelling part of it? That's what I always chase. And that's what I think makes me unique in terms of that you will see quality even though there's no quality. The quality relies in the storytelling part, and of which it amplifies now with the quality now that you see, the 4Ks, whatever that you might see as quality. But for me, the quality that I define is the storytelling part. As long as the substance into it, I'm good. I run with that. So yeah, I know most of the time people think I don't respond to DMs for shoots and all that. It's because if there is no story, I won't respond. Guys, I don't know why people do this. Do you understand that sometimes you get bookings because you are Bongani?
Okay.
People just want to see you at the event. Oh, Bongani. And then they want to take pictures. I'm like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. Yes, sure, I might have a lot of followers, but for me, what matters is the story part. If you've got a story, I will even travel wherever. Like, even Longisa, I was like, this is not about payment and everything. I will travel to your home because I want to see where you're coming from. No one is telling your story. I might as well start. So that one day, when you have that Netflix bag, you know that this is where you started. Yeah,
I love that. It's not really about the numbers. It's just about telling this story.
Exactly. People focus on numbers so much. And I know.
Well, we're trying to get the bag, Bongani.
But what bag if there's no content, there's no substance, guys? It's one thing. And I know, for example, look at the growth of Grace. Grace has been consistent with the quality that she is. She is where she is right now, and she's not a typical girl that you call an influencer. But the
Yes.
growth that she has, like from the beginning to
over
where
the
she is now,
years.
yeah, it's something that she's built up, and she's built the quality. She's became consistent in what she wanted to do, and she was like, I want to do this, and now she's growing, and numbers are following her. So the same thing, if you produce quality content and the substance into it, you'll forever be sustainable. Because the thing is, you'll go up and then go down. There's days where you don't want to shoot, where you're like, I don't want to see content. When that happens, it mustn't catch you at the point where you don't know your why. Why did you get into content creation? Why are you doing this? Yeah, one. So it's not about the numbers at the end of the day. Even brands, at the end of the day, I so wish they could understand. It's about there's a difference between an influencer and a content creator. Influencer, yes, you influence us with your numbers. But content creation, it's about the quality of it.
Sure.
That's what we need. If someone has quality, let's run with it.
Okay, not
Yeah.
bad. To a person that wants to go into videography and digital entrepreneurship and all of that, you're preparing a toolbox for them.
Yeah.
What are like top 7 things that you would put in that toolbox that you think they need to have?
Number one, your cell phone, the future of cell phones. Cell phones are going to replace cameras. Don't say I didn't tell you this.
Okay.
Cell phones, number one, like make sure that, I know it's like quite a huge investment, but invest in a cell phone.
Okay.
Cameras, sure, if you've got the budget. Number two, lighting. Without proper lighting, there's nothing. Like you can have the best camera, but the lack of lighting is a problem. Number three, I think plan out your work, hey? Have like some form of a guideline, like buy a book if you're not a digital person and start writing out your plans, a 5-year plan and do stuff. Like to say, I want to get here, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. This is what I did with my company. I was like, this is where we're going. And sometimes you make sacrifices along the way because you know what's a bigger goal. That one. And then the fourth one will be probably make sure that at least you are being realistic with yourself. You can like content yourself, but get advice from other people. And don't even like be bothered if they tell you bad stuff. I'm like, sometimes like people get offended when you give them a review.
Yes,
I'm one person, my wife knows me. She's going into content right now. She's growing like big time. Her numbers are crazy now. But also it's the same thing that I always give positive feedback, but also honest feedback. I'll tell you when you are wrong. When you're wrong, you're wrong. That one. If something doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's okay. Move on.
Yeah.
So get advice from your friends. Well, not your friends, but people around you to give you an honest feedback on how you're doing in terms of content creation.
Sure.
And then the sixth one, I think make sure you understand where AI is going. AI is the biggest tool right now that you need as a person.
Sure.
Whether from scripting, whether from planning, like all those things. Like sometimes AI can do everything for you. Make sure that you understand that ChatGPT is not a wrong thing. Make use of it. And then the last one, I think have a dream, hey?
Yeah.
That's the last one. Have a dream. If you know where you're going with it. Guys, if you don't believe in your beauty of your dreams, no one will.
Yeah.
So that's what you need. Mina, that's what I believe in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that. I love the toolbox. I think my favorite one is the last one. Have a dream.
Exactly.
Have a dream. And I think sometimes we take for granted just that thought of saying, I want to be this, you know?
Yes.
Like when I was telling you earlier, I'm like, for me, when I used to watch your guys' videos and your production, I'd always think, I'm like, one day I'm going to do my podcast. It wasn't a podcast yet. I'm going to do my podcast and then I'm going to have Bongani over. But also it felt impossible. I'm like, is he even going to respond? And I even remember the day you responded to my DM. My heart was beating fast. I don't know. I was like, let me wait for 10 minutes. What if he sent by mistake? What if he agreed by mistake? I'm like, I was just going through it. But I think by virtue of having a dream, and that dream leads you to taking action because of that dream and hearing your story and having you on, it pushed me to actually take that action to say, hey, are you able to do this, to pitch and stuff. So yeah, have a dream. What is the season of your life?
Yo,
If you had to name it.
Hesh, it's a season of adulting, hey? It's a season of adulting. And I think I've grown in the business space. I've grown into that. But then it gets to a point where now I have to start thinking about babies, about big homes, what's going to happen.
Sure.
And yeah, it's adulting. I think making decisions like that to see what's going on. But other than that, like, it's a flourishing season, but also adulting. Like I have to take responsibility now. You know, I'm one person that I'll blow my bank account just to travel to another country.
Yes.
So now it's like channeling my mind. I've been learning a lot of those and seeing on what's the next step. Like, what are you doing to now not blow things? Because a camera is nice. Like, you see a camera, 100,000, you're like, yo, I've saved up this much, but I don't have a baby. I can have, well, nah, you know, let's just buy a camera. It's an
Yes.
investment, you know?
Yes.
So you have to think about those things. So I'm in that phase, and I love that phase, though.
Adulting and flourishing.
Yeah, adulting and flourishing. It's nice. Flourishing, I don't want to lie. Yo, like the bags that I'm getting now, it's like from where I was, I didn't think I would be able to get to where I am right now. I'm working, well, they said I can say this. I'm working with White Star right now.
Okay.
And I'm like, I grew up having a meal from White Star, now having to work with it.
Oh.
Never mind White Star, Coke. I love Coke. And now, I think even yesterday, the meeting, I'm like, okay, Bongani, are you ready to sign the contract? I'm like, listen, child.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Do you understand?
Yes, yeah.
So having that and taking responsibility and saying now, okay, you need to start thinking about the long term of these things. So yeah, it becomes one of those things that I'm flourishing, but also taking responsibility.
I love the season
Eish.
of your life for you.
Thank
To a person that is afraid of taking a risk, what would you say to them?
Listen, taking a risk, you can't die from taking a risk. Just try. Like it's like shooting your shot. Like if you just take the risk, but also take a calculated risk. Yeah, but sometimes you must just know your limits. A risk in J, it has to be a calculated. You know, when they define entrepreneurship, they define it as someone who's taking calculated risks. Become an entrepreneur, a business person to say, take a risk, knowing very well that you've got nothing to lose.
Okay.
Yeah, like sending me a DM, I've got nothing to lose.
Yes.
Like there's so many people that I send DMs to sometimes as well. And I'm like, yo. But also at the same time, I know there's some people who don't have the confidence to send the DMs. I don't know. I think my Friday afternoons, I'll go on YouTube and see who's doing well. I'll go to that person Instagram DM, like, listen, I've just watched your video. I love it so much. Please keep on doing it. Improve there and there and there. Keep on going. The person, I'm not the biggest person, but I know my numbers. The reason why, also the verification thing. When you are verified, people like see you as a big person.
Sure.
So for them, when they receive that, it's like, wow.
It's an affirmation.
And you see a person keep on doing it, and I love that. So being in that position, yeah.
Okay, love that. And then I wouldn't have done justice if I don't ask this question.
I love talking about money.
Yes.
So, Bali Patela Shapo.
Woman, got defining. Yo, wait, hey.
Your real job 9 to 5, your mini contracts. But yeah, basically my question is, for a person that is going into content creation or just videography, right? Are they looking at a sustainable income? And also, I know that you can't have the exact metrics, that right, to say after how long are you going to get a good amount. But if a person wants to be motivated, like income structure, what are they looking at? What are they working with?
So videography, definitely. I did an exercise, I think 2 weeks ago, with videographers. I had videographers in one room. And I can tell you for free, an average income for videographer is 30K.
Okay.
Right? That's like an average videography. We get more because of the brand that comes with it. But an average person, that's sustainable. That's beyond a normal income of a what you call an average living person in South Africa. So the average living person, I think the income is like minimum wage is like 3.5.
Yes.
So now if you're getting 30K from 3.5, it's sustainable for me. And then in terms of the other side of it, the influencer space of it, that's quite sustainable. But one thing that I hate about that is that it's periodical. It's not
Yes.
sustainable, it's periodical. Right now, you're on your peak. An average influencer right now gets about 30 to 60,000 rand for a campaign, for one reel. And when a person receives that, they don't know how to manage the money.
Sure.
And that's one thing I always fear. Like, I always reach out to creators that are blowing up. I'm like, listen, if I'm going to talk to you, let's have a conversation about money. And if you need a financial advisor, let's get you connected to one. Because now you get money, but it doesn't mean it's going to be sustainable forever. brands are very seasonal people. They like you now, and then you're popular. After that, you're gone.
Yeah, somebody new comes
Yeah,
in.
somebody new comes in. So you've got that. So the influencer space, not really sustainable. But there's a lot of money into it. 30
Sure.
to 60K average per reel. A campaign needs about 2 or 3 reels. That one, that's close to 100,000 or even 100,000 for those 30 reels. So take that money and putting it away and making sure that you're sustainable. Because the thing is, us as black people, I don't think we were taught in terms of budgeting and how to grow in it. So yeah, becomes one of those things that we must just budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, love that. I'm sure everybody at home had that. It's a good space, but you also need to be financially literate. You need to educate yourself and be able to budget, put away some money, and all of that, right? And then we're about to close. I'm so sad. I wish I had booked 2 hours. So, one of the questions that I wanted to ask: what has been the biggest accomplishment of your career?
Ooh, career. I think probably YouTube Black
Okay.
has been our biggest accomplishment because it was a 3-year program, or not 3 years. So every year they were choosing like 10 YouTubers in South Africa, and we were part of that 10. And they also pick like stories that are worth telling to the rest of the world, and then they send your content throughout the international world. And then there was about 143 YouTubers in the whole world. In South Africa, there was 10 of us. So being chosen for that, it showed a little bit of growth from what we were doing. It sort of was an assurance that there's actually a career out of YouTube.
Sure.
Because even the graduation, it was so special. We went to Cape Town for 30 days, 30 to 5 days. You know, they gave us jackets. You were there, everyone was there. Kamon Pilla was performing at my graduation party.
Listen,
You understand?
listen.
So all those things sort of like assured me that there's not a one way of graduating in life, but there's so many ways that you can grow as a person, and YouTube was one of them, and I love that, and that was the best time of my career. Yeah.
Okay, love that, and it is inspiring. Yes, and
money that came
money.
with
Both
YouTube.
level guy. Thank you so much. One last question. You recommend really cool stuff. What are you currently watching? I watched Youngings because of you, and I enjoyed it.
What am I currently watching? I'm gonna recommend the Bill Gates that's coming up.
Okay.
Ne? Reason
When is
being,
it dropping?
I think 19 September.
Okay.
Right? And the reason why is because of there's a whole shift in AI. There's a lot of brands are going AI, brands are going into this, but people always forget the health stuff that we actually are beings and we can get sick and all that. So it's like having to tap into Bill Gates' brain. Netflix is about what lesson are you learning. Everything that you watch, there must be a lesson into that. That's how you qualify to get a movie on Netflix. Get the biggest lesson to be learned from it. So now, if someone like Bill Gates is going into that, I think get into that and step away from entertainment a bit, but get into what's the future holding for us. And that's something that I'm excited to watch.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll definitely watch
Shout out
it.
for you for watching Youngins. Season 2. I can't wait.
Yes. I also can't wait for Youngings. Hey, it left me wanting for more. Yeah. Thank you so much for honoring my invite. This felt really short. I hope to see you sometime again.
For sure.
Yes. Thank you so much. To everybody at home, I hope you learned something. I think for me, my biggest takeaway is that you need to take a calculated risk. And if just because you love something, it doesn't mean you have to, just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean you have to pursue it. It doesn't mean you have to insist on being there, especially if it doesn't serve you or it doesn't work for you. Like, I mean, you can be good at accounting and still go into creativity because maybe that's what you're learning or that's what you love or that's what pays your bills. So there's a separation between what you're great at and your passion and what pays bills sometimes, because also sometimes passion doesn't pay bills. Like, I think creatives are the luckiest people. They get to use their passion to pay bills because sometimes it's really separated. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Employment Wednesdays. And always remember, you are never alone. You're always gracefully anchored. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you.